Hey, everybody. Good morning. It's Lisa Loring, and it is Thursday. I can't believe it's Thursday, already April 11th. Crazy. Anyway, I am doing today's reading, and I'm doing it on Instagram Live, and I'm doing it on YouTube Live because I want to be able to have a couple of people asked me, number one, why are you doing your card readings live now? Because, and I'm going to be doing this on Patreon too. I am also, I'm doing this mainly because I am studying to become a nurse, and I'd like to do this not in the traditional way, of course. For anybody who knows me, you know what's up, and but I would never do anything in sort of a traditional vein. But mainly, I am aiming to do this as a medical intuitive, which includes, not just the holistic, what we know as holistic medical treatment for people, but treating the whole person from, their astrological chart, from their upbringing, taking in their whole history, their whole person, and connecting with them on a level where you're seeing everything about them. You're not just, treating them symptomatically. You're treating everything about them. So at any rate, I can't really afford time-wise or cash-wise to do both all of my medical stuff and my school stuff that I need to meet my marks academically. And I'm hoping actually to hear back from Johns Hopkins soon. So that would be really great. And at any rate, you can imagine that that's going to be an expenditure. So doing this in a way that actually stretches me to work with my intuitive capabilities and put my feet to the fire and do it in a way that's a little more on the fly. Medical intuition is obviously more than just on the fly. You need to look really in depth in a person, and you would need to spend some time with them to completely understand their story from every aspect of their lives. But you can't just send somebody away and tell them, I'll get back to you in 2 weeks kind of thing. So by doing my cards that I do for myself daily online, this is my way of being able to sort of put my feet to the fire, get a little more succinct at it, and just to read the energies of the day and to give somebody, give people support. I think some of their times are pretty tough, and some people have a lot of confusion right now. But times are changing rapidly. No matter who you are, you're feeling this. And I think, like I expressed to my daughter the other day, this energy is out there for everybody, and it's going to manifest in whatever ways. What's going on as above, so below. What's going on in the sky is going on for us in our personal lives, and that's gonna work out in different ways. Depending on what your karma is, depending on not your karma. It's kind of kitschy. Depending on what your job is, what your purpose is in this life. And I think a lot of people are still kind of searching for their purpose. Yours truly, I've just figured my stuff out, in the path I want to take my direction. And I still have a lot of questions. So anyway, we're going to ask the spirit cats today. I pulled up my spirit cats. I haven't pulled this deck in a while, just to give us an overall tone for what the kitty cats have to say. I don't actually have, I have one in the background there. There's Miss Cece, but Miss Vesper and Mr. Pete are sacked out in there. They've gotten caught by the rays of the sun. They get caught by the day. So they're all sacked out. So we'll ask the spirit cats what they have to say today. And that'll give us an overall tone. Oh, we got 3, but okay, well, I guess we'll just take them. We got freedom. Oh, Miss Lucy. This is Miss Lucy. Look at that. Isn't she super cute? Oh my God, she's so cute. Meet Lucy. She is awake even in her dreams. And I don't know about you, but I'm sleeping hardcore this week. I'm getting so many downloads, and I'm doing a lot of sleeping. I'm super tired. One of her favorite things to do is fly in a lucid dream. It is the most natural, free, and expansive feeling. You can go to outer space, imaginary lands, deep under the sea, on the top of Mount Everest. Anywhere, this little kitty is calling you to embrace that unbounded freedom of flight and dreams. What is your wildest dream? Your craziest, most heart-expanding, joy-filled plan A. If you were completely free, what would you do? So that's actually what I was saying. Like, what is your life purpose? I think a lot of people are interested in figuring it out, or maybe that's changing for you. Like, really strangely, out of my calendar of the soul book that I meditate with, you can see this is pretty worn. You can't even read the title. I got, an old fortune cookie thing that fell out of it randomly. It says, you are soon going to change your present line of work. What does that mean? That can mean a lot of things. That can mean a lot of things. It may just be like the way you think about things, the way you perceive things. The other card we got today was Majesty. This is Majesty. Oh, look at her. She's so sweet. Meet Majesty. She lives inside each and every one of us. She is the queen of the vulnerable heart, the yearning soul, and the seeking mind. She helps us see our majesty, helps us to honor our gifts, hone our skills, and be true to our word. Let us not diminish ourselves with endless self-criticism and self-negation. This has been coming up. This came up in yesterday's reading. This is a card that definitely speaks to, there was the Eight of Swords that came up, and then the Three of Swords was next in reverse. And it is about negating a negative thinking that keeps you from being in freedom. So that's really awesome. We must wear our crown of light to be in our royalty, to recognize ourselves as royal, as divine. You've got to do that. You have a room, you have a seat at God's table every single day. Nobody is kicking you out of God's table or anybody's table. And if they tell you you can't sit with us for lunch, well, you know what? Don't worry. Somebody else will grab you up real fast. We have everything to teach and share with our fellows. So be out there, cultivate kindness and respect towards yourself so your gifts may flourish and be shared freely with those around you. So the other one we have is Tending the Garden. Oh, look at her. Look at her. She's very sweet. Meet Gala. Her peculiar flowers bloom in the sun of her nurturing love and care. In a tucked away corner of the forest, she planted a few precious seeds. I see why these cards came up. For months, she wanted the earth and sang patient love songs. Above the surface, nothing appeared to be happening to the other kitties. And the other kitties didn't understand why she spent so much time in the overlooked spot. Eventually, delicate emerald tendrils peeked out of the soil. Gala loved and protected them until wondrous blossoms burst forth. What seeds can you nurture in your heart? What garden are you trying to go? I can't make this stuff up. You know, this is exactly the kind of the chat that I was talking about. It's like, what can we do? I think a lot of us are reconsidering like where our lives are headed. And I think that that's really cool. I mean, that can be really scary, but there's a lot of opportunity. And it is about just this self-reflection. And Jupiter just went retrograde actually yesterday, which a lot of people are like, oh my God, now we're not going to get anything cool. But that's not true. It's actually a time of looking within because you actually know what you want. But it takes time to get quiet. And when these planets go retrograde, that gives us time to like self-reflect inside. So we have freedom, tending the garden. You've already planted these seeds. These seeds are already planted. It's just a matter of owning up to them, owning them, actually tending them, like saying yes to yourself. And that's where this divinity comes in. That's where that majesty comes in. So our spirit, I'm so glad I worked with these cards today. I haven't worked with them in a while and I love them. So we'll work with the Shadowscapes Tarot deck for over the rest of the reading. I'm tempted. Oh, I have so many card decks that I want to play with all of them, but I can't really be doing that all day because I have to work just like everybody else. I have a lot of homework to do. So I'm going to angle the cards, angle the phone down here for that and this so we can see the cards that are going to come up, and we'll keep these guys here, our little lovely kitties. So as I pull from the Shadowscapes Tarot, we'll see what comes up. What are the energies today that are here with us? What archangels? All the archangels are actually guiding us. Archangel Michael was very strong today. And, I've got to re-listen to the astrology report that David Palmer did, the Leo King. The deep astrology he did yesterday blew my mind. And I recommend him highly. He has tons of followers anyway, but he just is wonderful. And he goes into some really deep stuff. He's very over the top, but I love him. And his education is just amazing, which if you're the smartest person in the room, I'm going to like walk over to you because I love smart people. I love things. People have like smart, awesome things to say. How much can I learn from them? I'm like a little sponge. So anyway, what are the cards going to offer us today for wisdom, guidance? How can we make best use of today? How can we have the most fun? How can we find better and more wonderful and clear ways to communicate? And be in connection with one another, be in connection with the divine. How can we work through with our best and highest and wisest selves Seven of Pentacles came up. That's always a great and awesome card. All right, what's our next card that came up? Again, this is seeds well planted. That came up with our spirit cats. That came up in the spirit cats. Seeds well planted. And coming in the first position, that definitely means that those seeds are well planted. What else do we have today? Oh, there's that Snow White song that came up again. I'm seeing Snow White. Yeah, we'll go. Oh, the Empress. The Empress card. Look at her. She's another one. Again, seeds well planted. Things are coming to fruition. And I love this portal. This card's been coming up a lot lately. Do you see that portal of butterflies that she's basically casting? Like she's casting that to the sun. And the sun is a reflection of who we are. It's a reflection of our soul, who we are, our identity. Oh, and the magician flipped. I love this card. And I love, this is the Shadowscapes Tarot deck, by the way. I didn't say that. But the Magician card is basically like, how can we create? And he's such an amazing figure. All right, bottom of the deck, Knight of Wands. This one's been coming up a lot today lately. The Knight of Wands can be a little bit of a player. He's got kind of a, one night stander, but he also is like this passion rushing in. And I don't know. I mean, I can really feel that today. I wanted to say, like, I wasn't really feeling that in my meditation, but as I went through my meditation, it definitely picked up. And the cards that came up in the spirit cats speak to that as well. It's like freedom, tending the garden. What have we planted? What are the seeds that you've planted? And this is that time to contemplate that. What are the seeds that you've planted that are going to come to fruition? She's planted this with full faith. I love how she's depicted in this card as completely naked. She's got nothing but her basket of fruit. She's already picked some fruit, in fact. And she's got those Aries horns on her. So we're still in the season of Aries, by the way, and we will be until through next week. So this is definitely a season of, what have you planted? What's coming up? This imagery of seeds. And again, what I think it came up in, not Majesty, in Tending the Garden. This came up strongly in one of my other meditation books that I read, the Book of Awakening. I seriously have been reading this book for like 7 years. Every day it has something, and it was all about paying attention to the activity going on underground, as well as what's starting to burst forward now that we are in spring. So where are we rooted? Where are we rooted? And understanding that the roots that we have that are germinating and starting to burst forward through the soil here in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you're obviously experiencing a different season. But this is still a season of abundance, no matter what. This is the season of harvest. It's either the seeds that you've planted are starting to break ground and breathe and come into the light, come into the air, become transformed. She's casting this into the air. Or what you have cast, like I said, if that resonates with you in the Southern Hemisphere, what has come to fruition? What are you now gathering up that you can start to take forward? And with the Magician card coming in as the third position, this Empress, she's flanked by, she's got, all of this wonderful abundance and all of this wonderful creativity. And again, and I think this came up in one of the cards. It's like, how can you be like innovative with what you have planted instead of doing the same old things with the stuff that you've planted? Okay, we have the seasons, they turn. I'm sure you can all feel that there's something really different about now. We've definitely gone through some portal. Like there's that portal right there. Something has opened up. How can we open ourselves even more? And he's even got the sign of infinity above his head. Don't know if you can see that. It is very super duper subtle. You've got that imagination of infinity. What can you plant that is now going to be different? A different way of like talking to somebody differently, pulling in different information, be it from your spirit guides, like asking different questions, right? I think that's part of it. Asking different questions of people. asking yourself different questions so you can actually get different answers. Like that's another thing. I see you guys have a couple of questions. Yes, I will take some questions. Sure. Questions are good. So go ahead and ask. I won't actually type them. I won't type my answers. Do you see children in our future? I don't know. Do you see children in your future? That's actually the better question. Is that something, what are you doing in your life? And I think that's the answer. That's one of the answers here. What are you doing in your life? How are you making that kind of magic happen? How are you drawing that to you? Right? Like, what are you doing? For me, I've done some things in my own life to like clean up some things, just my self-talk. That's been coming up strongly. Right? So that's it. What are you doing in your life? Like, I would examine what you're doing. And, anyone can have a child in their future. The only obstacles that we have to the things that we really want are the ones that we create. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. If you are having infertility issues, then, this is actually a very fertile reading. You've got seeds well planted. You have abundance. You have freedom. How can you free yourself up? How can you free your body up in a way that would open your body to receiving the seed of a child? Be that whether you're a man or a woman. Because I think that, a man is not going to release his life force to the divine feminine that would create a child. That has to be that. There's a magic that happens there. Are you allowing that magic to happen in your life? There's that. Are you allowing that kind of passion to come in the other things that you're doing in your life? Right? This is the Knight of Wands. This is definitely just newly married. Well, make sure that you are, make sure that you want something, make sure that you're in a position where you really feel the stability to have a child, the stability in your relationship to have a child. Give yourself time. As a person who actually had my daughter very young, my daughter is 25, going to be 26. I'm 49. So I had her like a quarter of a century ago. And now I'm reaching a half century, right? One of the things that I would have really liked is to perhaps not have had her so young. I feel like I could have been a better mom. I could have allowed my relationship to develop to a particular level where I could have been a better mom, or just had better tools to raise her and also do the things that I needed to do to take care of myself. 33 and 36. Well, that may be, but where are you? Where are you emotionally? Because your chronological age may be very different. So just look at that stuff. Just look at that stuff. So we have, and then we have the Two of Cups. So I don't know, Two of Cups. This might be a good day to start planting those seeds for a child. You got the Two of Cups open face up. Okay. So the Two of Cups, that's definitely a temporary, this is a daily card. This is a temporary opportunity to be in love, to create something together. I don't know, just saying. But we also have the Ten of Swords underneath. And basically, the Ten of Swords underneath, this is actually, the things that get in our own way. Without thinking things through, we do end up in the Ten of Swords land. So think things through. Think if you're really ready for that. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I don't know, Jessica. I don't know. I can't see that far. I'm going to wrap it up here. But if you have any questions or comments, I'm certainly happy to answer them. And if you have any thoughts, if you're true, and as far as you're welcome, Ellie Jane. I wanted to, Jessica, and I do want to answer your question. Again, your person's true feelings, I would ask them. And that's another thing. Communication is coming up big time. The only thing that stands in the way of you, and I'll just go ahead and pick a card for you. The only thing that stands between us and really understanding how other people feel about us is our inability to ask them. But I will pick a card for you. I'm not going to take, well, we got 3 that came out. And you got the 4 of Pentacles, which is holding on to something. You got the Ace of Pentacles. You have the strength to do whatever it is that you want, but you're still contemplating. But you definitely, like, he's not very expressive. He's a Gemini. At any rate, you have the strength to do what you need to do, but I would contemplate why you even want this person in your life. That's just one thing that came up for me. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for joining me again. If you have any questions, please throw them in the comments. And you're very welcome. You're very welcome. You guys have a great, great day. Make good use of the energy. Take care. Bye, Bill. Thanks for joining me.